Most robot lawnmowers use a cutting disc with razor blades on it to cut your grass, and you've probably seen these before and think that's how all robot mowers work. But you'd be wrong, because Yarbo does things completely different by using a brand new solid blade design, and they're one of the very first robot lawnmowers to do this. This is Yarbo, but it's not just another robot lawnmower like all the rest. No, Yarbo is the first modular robot, and that means it can do a lot more than just mow grass. Check it out. This meaty tank unit is what they call the core, and it acts as the centerpiece of the whole modular system. From there, you can connect different modules that allow you to do different tasks around your house. I reviewed the snowblower attachment back in January, and there's also a leaf blowing module for fall cleanup. But this video is about the newest module from Yarbo, the Mower Pro. Now, they do have a standard lawnmower module that's been out for a while now and uses cutting discs with razor blades like I mentioned at the top of the video. But the new Mower Pro module doubles the power of each motor and gives you the option to cut with razor blades or the coveted solid blades. When most people realize that robot lawnmowers use razor blades to cut the grass, the reaction is always disappointment. I don't know if they think it's too weak of a design, but the reaction is never like, oh cool, razors. It's always like, oh, that's how it cuts the grass? And the cutting disc razor blade design has two major limitations. For one, they don't do well with long grass. They cut great, but they don't mulch very well. So if you're doing a moderate cut, it'll leave grass clippings behind. And the biggest thing is they don't generate lift like a standard lawnmower does when it actually pulls up the grass blades and slices through to get that nice even cut. But Yarbo did it. They are giving the people what they want with a solid blade design to solve all of the shortcomings of most robot lawnmowers. These metal blades are a scaled down version of what you'd find on a regular mower. They have a sharp cutting edge, and the trailing edge is flared to help generate lift and really mulch up those clippings. These new solid design blades, combined with the more powerful motors on the Mower Pro, are capable of cutting through taller grass, mulching the grass better, and they can cut lower to the ground than the standard mowing module as well. You're probably wondering about the setup for Yarbo, and it's very similar to a lot of other robot lawnmowers, except for one thing that kind of sucks, but I'll get to that in a second. First thing you got to do is get the app. That's crucial to syncing up to and controlling your robot. I named mine Mojo Blojo because with the lawnmower module, he does mowing jobs, and with the snowblower attachment and the leaf blower, he does other jobs. The charging dock has to be set up somewhere on your property, and it just needs a standard outlet to plug into. This is where Yarbo lives and charges when he isn't working. It's a true contactless charging dock, whereas most robot mowers are driving up against contact points to wirelessly charge. Yarbo doesn't do that. It sits on the charging dock much like your phone sits on a wireless dock. There's no contact points at all. It's actually pretty cool, and it's the only robot lawnmower I've seen that is a true contactless charging. From there, we have the data center, and this is where things get weird. The data center can mount on the side of your house, or I did the quick and dirty install of just sticking the pole in the ground. As long as it can see the sky, you should be good to go. The sucky part is that it requires Ethernet, or power over Ethernet if we're being technical. Running an Ethernet cable from your router can be hard depending on your setup. So what I did was I just used an Ethernet port on one of my nodes for my mesh network. You could also use a Wi-Fi extender like this one from TP-Link, and that'll have a port that you could use too. Yarbo is the only robot that I've seen that requires Ethernet, so a little bit strange and worth mentioning, but overall, not a huge deal. Mapping your yard is next, and that is done by piloting the robot around the perimeter of the area you want it to mow. I'm using the app for this, but they also include an Xbox looking controller, so whatever works best for you, just use that. After the perimeter is done, it's time to select no-go zones. These are going to be areas of your yard or objects in your yard that you want the robot to automatically go around and never try to mow. Some people map out trees, mulch beds, gardens, swing sets, trampolines, or whatever else you got going on. Once my map is complete, I'm basically ready to cut, and there's all kinds of settings to select for how you'd like Yarbo to go about doing that task. You can change the height of cut, the direction of cut, or the pattern. You can even change the angle of the stripes, and I like to set this so that when I'm coming home and driving up the street, the stripes are pointed towards me for maximum visual appeal. You can also choose how it interacts with objects, like how close it gets to them and how many perimeter laps around the objects you want, and just other stuff like that. So how does Yarbo and the new Mower Pro module cut? I've tried a bunch of different robot lawnmowers, and I can honestly say Yarbo might be the best one. And There's a few reasons as to why. The first thing is that the cutting path is fairly wide. A lot of robot lawnmowers are using a single disc design, and that just takes a really long time to cover a whole yard because they only have like an 8-inch cutting path or something like that. Yarbo is the #1 striping robot, and it's really not even close. The stripes are straight for the most part, and they're also really defined. I haven't gotten close to that quality with any other robot. So if stripes are your thing, Yarbo is the one for you. It's built for acreage, and the sheer size and cutting capacity of 6 acres makes it the perfect solution for large-scale properties. The blade design does indeed seem to cut better and mulch up grass way finer than other robots too. And that's gonna make a huge difference for a lot of people. Okay, so you've seen how Yarbo works and some of the impressive results, but like any tool, there's pros and there's cons, things that I like and things that I don't like. So let's get into it. I really like the cut with this new Mower Pro module. It's really nice and the solid blades do a great job of mulching. Striping is exceptional and it's probably the best robot mower I've tested in that category. And like I said, I don't really think it's very close. I was initially worried about the grass getting ripped up due to the weight of the core unit, but the tracks are fairly gentle and that hasn't been a problem. Yarbo is definitely the heavyweight of the robot lawnmower space and it's not very close. It's absolutely massive. I mean, both in size and weight. I kind of joke that Yarbo is like the best anti-theft device just due to sheer weight, simply because it weighs well over 100 pounds. It's physically hard to steal. I also like that Yarbo is more than just a lawnmower. The snowblower works great and I can use Yarbo all year long. This fall, I'm excited to try out the leaf blower module and see how that works. Nobody else is doing a modular design and Yarbo has the most potential to do the most things because of it, and that's pretty cool. So what don't I like about it? Well, that's everyone's favorite part, isn't it? All right, here we go. Most robot lawnmowers are from fairly new startup companies, and it's also bleeding edge technology, meaning that you're not just an early adopter, you're practically a beta tester. Not everyone wants to be a beta tester, and just because a product makes it to market doesn't mean all the kinks are worked out and it functions perfectly all the time. I mean, Range Rover still makes vehicles, right? Yarbo is amazing when it's working. I have a fairly high pain tolerance for issues and troubleshooting, but if you don't, this product might not be ready for you yet. The good news is that the tech is developing fast and software can be updated, and I've seen Yarbo listen to the community, make changes, and fix things that were problematic. Updates and hotfixes are common, and the product continues to develop and get better. Here's a great example of that in action. In the app, it predicts the path the mower will take, and when I pull that up, you can see weird random diagonal lines cutting across the yard to get to different spots. Yarbo doesn't always move linearly across the yard, and when it encounters objects, it tends to skip areas and then come back to them later. Like if it's mowing along back and forth across the whole yard and then comes into contact with like a tree or something, it'll make a few shorter passes to get around the tree and then it will just kind of keep going. So the grass on the backside of the tree gets skipped, at least temporarily. Look at this partially completed map and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The backside of every single tree gets missed on the first pass, and then afterwards, Yarbo will come back and play cleanup. All of the grass does get mowed, but the result is your beautiful striping is ruined by random cut paths across the yard because Yarbo had to bomb all over the yard to get to those missed spots. Here's that mowing job on that map completed, and you can kind of see all the diagonal cut paths used to go back and finish off those areas. In the latest version of the app though, this problem has been largely fixed for the most part, and when it gets to an object, Yarbo immediately starts cutting the backside too, so it's doing less unorganized driving across the lawn. It was one of the main complaints with Yarbo in some of the owners groups on Facebook and Reddit, and they listened to the community, they made the fix, and the robot behaves differently now in a much better way. That's pretty cool. You've seen what this robot is capable of in all of its glory. I've told you about some of the things that I don't like, but here's the big question. Should you get one? Is it worth it? And who is this thing for? Okay, technically that's like 3 questions, I guess, but they're all kind of the same. So here we go. As mentioned earlier, robot lawnmowers are bleeding edge tech. And if you don't have the capacity to troubleshoot and work through some trial and error issues, or you simply don't want to, then you might be early to this space in general. The downside of being an early adopter or beta tester is that things aren't always working perfectly all of the time. The major benefit, though, is that you're using very cool products that are brand new and not many people have, or better yet, have even seen before. Yarbo isn't an iPhone where you just start using it and it's perfect, but in my opinion, the good far outweighs the problematic. I mean, guys, a freaking robot mows my lawn for me. How cool is that? There's the cost thing too. Yarbo is not cheap. I've personally seen the cost come down over $1,000 this year though, and my guess is that the price will kind of continue to bounce around a little bit. The fact that Yarbo can do a lot of stuff helps out the value proposition as well. I'm mostly using Yarbo for mowing, but in the winter, I switch him over to be a snowblower and get extra utility out of it that way. If you live in Texas or something, the snowblower is gonna be of limited use to you, so something to think about. The space you're mowing is also a huge factor in the is it worth it equation. My property is just over 2 acres and most of it is mowable grass. Well, mowable weeds maybe, but it would probably take me at least 2 hours to mow everything. Having a robot take over this task has saved me hours a week, and I've got 2 small kids, so as much as I'd love to be out in the yard mowing, I just don't have the time right now. I have to guess at that 2-hour figure because I've lived in this house for almost a year now, but I've never actually mowed the lawn myself. Sure, I've mowed sections at a time and I still have ride-on mowers and push mowers, but I haven't actually gone out on a Saturday morning, gas up, throw on a good podcast, and mow the whole property start to finish. Haven't done it once. Yarbo does almost all of the grass cutting exclusively, and I run around with a string trimmer and clean things up every now and then. If you're a really tech-forward person, then you'll love having a robot mow your yard. But the bigger win is if you also have a big property and can save a ton of time as well. I've tested a lot of robot lawnmowers, and I'm genuinely the most excited for Yarbo because I think it has the most potential based on the platform and the direction they're headed. There's a bunch of new modules that have been announced and are coming out, plus I'm sure they're working on things that haven't even been announced yet too. I'm confident that this is a product that will continue to get better and more refined as time goes on, and today, it's already extremely impressive. Hey, if you like this video, definitely check out my video of Yarbo as a snowblower. It's weirdly awesome and just amazing that it works as well as it does. You can click into that video here and subscribe for more lawn care tips and robot testing in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.